Hello and welcome to another Lord of the Rings Rise to War video. I am the player who plays as the King Under the Mountain, and today I'm just going to do a brief season update video. This is the first TE of 2.0 under the new mechanics. It is server 442 and there are three main kingdoms, and also, to be fair to them, now Dark have actually grown as well. So I'll start off by showing you the map because it's changed quite a bit since the last time I showed you anything really. So we are still this purple colour here. Blue is mainly only in June. I think they're called the Blue Wizards, to be fair. The red is Axe too. To be fair, it looks like a small area, but actually they've been pretty strong. And they are pushing through now into Dol Guldur. And then you've got the Dark Kingdom in green. Here you have Troop, who are the Angels. And here you have Hotter, who split from Dan. I don't really know why. If anyone from Dan or Hotter are watching, if they could let me know, that'd be great. So the last time I think I showed you the map. Let's see if I can zoom in a little bit without giving away too much. So the last time that I think I showed you the map, we owned Lorien here, and we were pushing towards Durin's Vale. And we were also pushing SAV, so we actually got, and as well, to be fair, we were also pushing Withered, which was probably, looking back now, a bad idea that we tried pushing three lands that weren't ours, with the 10-minute timer if you're on someone else's land. So in fairness, the fact that we got as far as we did was pretty impressive. So I think we got to somewhere up here in Withered. We actually got to make a Fellowship Fortress in SAV, and we got to about 17 hours, because it takes 24 hours if it's owned by someone else before you can try and occupy the keep. And we didn't quite manage to achieve it. We tried again, and then we got pushed out because we were actually getting pushed from both sides. So that's kind of the east front, I would suggest. And then on the west front, we were fighting in the tunnels by a Region for a while with only mainly Eamon, to be honest, but a few of us also from Dobie. And eventually we broke there pretty much the same day we got broken at SAV. They came through this pass here and took Lorien the next day. Now, what I will say about this, and it's not any sour grapes or anything like that, but I think the devs will probably look at it. So the Fellowship Fortress here, even though it shouldn't, I don't think, be able to by design, can actually reach the keep here, only by one square. So we actually had a pretty gutting moment, to be fair, where these two fortresses were building. Obviously, under the new mechanics, you need a fortress to take the keep. We took this one down, and we were about to start on the second one, and literally about 5 minutes after that, they started hitting the keep. We just didn't have anything left to try and push through and get to the siege that was about here. Fair play to them, really, for noticing that you can actually reach the keep from this fortress here, for range to be able to capture it. I think it's a little bit annoying, partly because when we were fighting in Moria, if I can get to there, the Fellowship on our side doesn't actually reach to take Moria, as I said that in the previous video. So we'd have actually had to come over here, fly over, protect this one to actually try and capture Moria. But I'm sure, to be fair to the devs, they'll sort that out over a period of time, I'm sure, and work it out. So just to make things clear, it isn't a 2v1 in this server. It's very much a 1v1v1 from the Three Kingdoms. The only issue we had was by design, really, to be fair, because these two started fighting each other. Only started it, though, as Greed keeps reminding me, so fair enough. But only started it. Gotta keep putting it out there. A welcome, politician, Greed. And so basically, we've been hit from the west and we've been hit from the east by design, really, because we tried to surround the ring area with about a day or so to go until the ring opens. So yeah, that's kind of where we're sat with it. So we've been broken on both sides, and we fell back to the Undeeps. And to be honest, we were kind of imagining by falling back to the Undeeps, with the way that the ring is now open from both sides, that we wouldn't be defending from both sides still, but we're now defending at 2 crossings, which is here, where only are breaking through into the undeeps here. And we are defending here versus Axed, where we've been here pretty much all day back and forth, and I think they've just took the tunnel back. And I'm hoping we should get that back shortly. But yeah, we were kind of hoping at this point that they might go towards Dol Guldur, but it would appear that the ring this season's situated maybe in the Undeeps, which gives us a chance in a day or so when the ring opens up, because if it's seemingly in the Undeeps, then we'll be able to capture it first. As for Dol Guldur itself, there's quite a lot of only forts here now, and there's also a stack of axed forts here. I'm not too convinced these two have engaged themselves in Dol Guldur yet, although I could be very much proven wrong, but at the moment I don't think anyone's really engaged himself in Dol Guldur. I think everyone's kind of preparing with... How long until the ring opens now? See if I can find the... Yeah, so there's 1 day and 13 hours roughly until we should skip through to the next chapter, so this one should go down straight away, and then we're into Dol Guldur. So that's kind of where we're at. So considering we've been pushed, again, it's the good thing about if you can farm correctly in this game, you don't get hurt too much by being pushed. So we're still in 4th in the power rankings, which is pretty impressive because we've lost 50-60 tiles that we've had to replace in the last 2-3 days. There's still gaps behind, so we're taking 150s, losing 200s, taking 150s, so it's not too bad. You're still getting 880 resources against 1,000, so it's not all bad. As for the fellowship rankings, only are now top. I think we were top the last time that I showed this, and Eamon is still 5th, so we've still got quite a lot of production between us. I think, where's Crower down here? They're partnered with Axed, and I think they're currently over in Dorwinion, trying to take Dorwinion, I think. So really, the 3 main powers, I think I'm not saying anything too bad there, are the top 3, but Hotter are also, to be fair, up there now. And Eamon have been really good this season. And also June, in fairness to June, they just keep going at people. They may not have the best sort of like gear and things like that, and I think they've got quite a few free to play, but in fairness to them, they just keep sending and take tiles. It's great to see, to be honest. So that's kind of where we're at with that. I'll just show you the I think the prestige rankings as well. I'd be interested to know what the other kingdoms have got in regards to contribution. So we're 2nd behind Raven, which I always expect anyway, because the guy's an animal. But yeah, we've done a lot of fighting the last day or so. I probably would have done a bit more fighting, but actually I got trapped in Lorien because there was no through road to get me to the Undeep, so I had to start uprooting our own players by leaving the Fellowship and going through there. So it's been quite interesting though, and to be fair, it's been a really entertaining season with lots of fighting, and it's been a sort of really good laugh so far. Just to sort of show you the gravity of how much fighting we are actually doing, if I change this to PvP, that's interesting. That does not look like PvP, that looks like PvE. I'll take that off and do it the other way. So this was the last hit that we've just died in. A lot of these people are pretty wailed out, to be fair, so Razor's got a couple of good formations. I think he's 3 in the power rankings. Everyone seems to be throwing Guardians at each other because it's the done thing to do now, because I think they are the best troop for resources and that kind of stuff. So we're up to level 48. And yeah, there's been a lot of fights. Show's a big old dirty whale, to be fair, but it was only half full. I do normally beat Show. There's a few players I do struggle with, but I tend to beat Show. So as you can see, we've got quite a few victories today. In between, we've been losing some tiles. People just keep sending at the tunnel. Genuinely, anyone would think that the ring is definitely in the Undeeps by the amount of troops that have been thrown here today. And in the background, we've been taking a few 150s with another formation just to replace the ones that we're losing, to be honest. So as I'm losing one, I'm kind of picking one up. This was a decent fight. Lots of T4 in it. And this is why I think Guardians are one of the better troops, to be honest. They obviously counter large units anyway. So it's pretty good against the T4s. More tile losses there. More YouTubers taking tiles there. This is a good couple of hits. I'm not entirely convinced. Olakan runs a lot of elves, bless him, and he does keep coming at you. Hells, obviously everyone pretty much running the same three commanders, and the fourth ones, depending on what side they were on, whether they were sort of good or good or bad in the old roleplay stakes. A few more kills there. Clicked off. See if I can get back down there, because there's quite a lot of kills on here, to be fair. So this was all today. See if I can get back to where we were. I think we're somewhere here. Yeah, we were there. So then we lost some more tiles. Then we got rid of Daku in half a show. Daku again's got some quite decent comms. Yeah, there you go. So again, pretty decent comms. Shows a big old whale. This was a good hit. I've done quite well against Sokobi so far. The T4 here, I'd say, saved him. That's definitely a resource win for me, because they are 3 times the price of a Guardian. So I normally do pretty well against him. It just depends if his Sauron takes away any of my White Council or anything like that, really. We even found a 230 today and a 200 that we could take, that I think we've kept, which is pretty impressive in the current scheme of things. We've built some forts. Is this still this morning? Yeah, this is still this morning. Again, a few more hits. So it's been a pretty heavy fighting day, to be honest. Then we lost some more tiles. So yeah, so we've replaced production pretty well, all things considered. As there's a lot of tiles there. This was yesterday, I think. So as you can see, there's been a lot of fighting. I've picked out a few reports that I think have gone pretty well. Start at the top, so if I can get to the top. So I was really impressed with this one. This is the only time I've actually bought the Iron Warriors out to play this season. I have got them reserved. I'm not going to say how many, but they are reserved for a special occasion if we need to do anything that's really, really good. And to be fair to him, I was really impressed considering what we're up against here. So gear-wise, I would say out-geared or very similar geared. Obviously, I was slightly better on levels, but there is 2 stacks of T4 each. So again, just for a reminder, my gear is not a slouch gear, to be fair. So I was pretty impressed with that, and I think I'd definitely run Iron Warriors on just those 2. I have considered putting Gimli in for Bjorn, just to see if I can get some more synergy with the dwarves, maybe. So I was impressed with that one. And then this is, I think, the biggest whale, not to make anyone else feel bad. But yeah, sickeningly good Dane. Yeah, I mean, again, great Sauron. Again, amazing Shadow. Although I'd still want 1 point in Black Numenorian, I think, to try and get rid of some extra White Council stacks, personally. And then an amazing Gandalf the White too. So I was really impressed with this result. I think was my Sauron quicker here? I'll just have a quick look, because there has to be some sort of reason as to why. Where are we? So his Sauron's actually faster than mine. I'm guessing mine must have done some sort of maddening stroke deceiving, maybe? No madness. Interesting. I'd like to go through that report a little bit more, because realistically, presumably it's round 4, yeah. So when my big hits come out from Bjorn is when the fight turned in my favour there. Bjorn and Dane against just Dane. And Shadow's damage is kind of every round. So that big hit's in round 4 there is what's done me the world of good, and probably having an extra level on him, I would say. But I was impressed with that. Then we've got some decent fights for show. Again, I was only at 5722 here, and he's got some T4 in there. So again, pretty impressive, really. Guardians stack up and do really well. Then we've got another one v Berserker. I think he changed some gear here, and he got a madness proc on me, which kind of turned the fight in his favour. His Dane has done 205,000 damage. I mean, that's outrageous in itself, but yeah. So it's pretty easy, even when I hit him, to be fair. Sokobi pounded me here, but I think that's more of the T4, like I've already said. Another one of their whales is Rain. We beat Rain. I don't know whether this is his main or not, but he's up there in the he's up there in their standings for sort of contribution and for farming. Definitely for farming. Another result v Sokobi again. He wasn't full, so kind of take that with a pinch of salt, really. And then on the only side again, Yari's hit me pretty hard here, but again he's got a lot of T4, so there's a lot of resource win for me there. But yeah, pretty impressive comms, and obviously his setup is very much a resource win for me there. Another one v Sokobi. That's when we were both full, so I'm pretty proud of that one, to be fair. Then 1v Sagi. Again, some T4 in there, so I was pretty happy with this hit. He's got some nice gear, to be fair. I think everyone just wants more Palantirs. And I really would like Sauron's unique. I would like to get him up to R10 at some stage. And then I always struggle against this guy, it seems. I know some other people have been beating him, but he's got some pretty good gear. His Sauron always seems to do me over. Like, always seems to take away one of either White Council or White Rider. Or Madam My Sauron. So I feel I've had a lot more success this season. I'll try and show you what I mean. So I feel I've had a lot more success this season by changing my gear on Sauron to make him faster. He's not perfect yet, and he will be a lot better next season. I just need 2 hammers to kind of give him a little bit more initiative. I do think the agility set and the extra initiative from the Obsidian Dagger has really helped, because I am now quicker than some Saurons and definitely quicker than some Gandalf the Whites. So I'm getting a lot more benefit from my Sauron in my main formation. My second formation, I'm not really using a great deal at the moment. Still a little bit disappointed in Skalhelm. Witch King's solid as a bit of a support damage. And I'm always impressed with Shadow. I can't bring myself to replace Bjorn or Dane with Shadow, as you can imagine, really. Frustratingly close to R12 now as well. What I would like to see is if... I might test it out at some stage when we're not frantically fighting all the time. I'd like to replace Shadow with Bjorn in my main, because Shadow strips White Council faster, so even though he hasn't got the massive damage procs, I'd be interested to see how he fared and whether it actually increased Dane's damage. So, I don't know, it's something for me to experiment with when we get the time, really. And that's kind of where I'm at for now. It's been a really interesting season. I've had a lot of fun, personally. It looks like we've took the tunnel back now. But we seem to be stacking up this side of the tunnel, and for me, I would probably say that they should be heading towards DG, but I'm not running Axe's tactics, and I'm not running Only's tactics, but it's a strange one that I think they're both still hitting the Undeeps at the moment. We have still got a direct route to the ring through the central path of the Undeeps. But we have been losing ground now for a few days. We've kind of been fighting from 2 sides for a week or so, and it's started to take its toll. But it's definitely been fun, and it's been a challenging season, and it's definitely not been boring. I think this is the most merit I've had at this stage in the season. I think I'm on nearly 1 million this week, or I might be over 1 million now. Just over 1 million this week, and I think I've probably only ever done 1 million in a week once or twice, maybe. So that's quite interesting. But yeah, it's been a big ask to hold off two quite strong fellowships currently, particularly while losing some resources. But I'm quite fortunate because I'm quite good at farming around in circles. What I will say has been a fantastic introduction to this game is these forts. And this transport feature of having a barracks in the fort is brilliant because you can just sit at the front line, hopefully not too far away from your fort. It's costing you 5 stamina to replenish if you want to stand where you are, or you can pull back and then move back for 10 because the likelihood is you're going to guard or move anyway, so you might as well pull back and move as far as I can see. So it's been good. I think the new fort idea from them has been good. And this is also this is the tactical fort building here. They take about 8 hours to build. And what I will say about tactical forts is I did a video on them not so long ago, and I did actually do it a little bit wrong, which I apologise for. So you actually do need to take 4 1 tiles in a square to be able to create a tactical fort. I think before I said that you only need the one, then it grew into the others. The other thing is you can change your troops, you can change your commanders, you can fill your barracks. I think if it's maxed to the top level, your tactical fort, it costs a lot of resources and 10 ability points as well. But if you max it, you can, I think it's about 60,000 barracks you can have in there, which is really handy for sort of changing round fights and stuff. So my kind of method of the madness, I suppose it is that when we've been on full fronts and I know we're going to be there for a little while, I've tried to build a tactical fort and put quite a lot of barracks in there. I've tried to build a fort about 10 minutes away, so if I die, I can then replenish troops from the furthest away fort, so I'm not burning the troops that are close to me. Then I kind of try and set up 2 forts that are quite close to me, because you can replace from any fort you wish after you've died, so that's also quite a cool feature. So then from there, I've been sort of having one that's sort of 2 minutes away, 1.5 minutes away, just so I can then replace if I've got time to do that. Or I have troops in the fort that I'm actually at the front, where it's hopefully a 0 reinforced time. So yeah, it's a pretty cool system, the fort system. And I think I'd like to do a further video on maybe kind of like aggressive tactics with a fort and how you can use 4 forts on a front to make sure you're fighting all the time, which I think is a really interesting feature that they've introduced. But it's just some food for thought. People use them in different ways. I'm not entirely convinced about the 24 hours you need to take a territory. I think there has only been one territory that's actually swapped hands because of the 24-hour buff, and that was Lorien. And that's more through a glitch where one of the fortresses was 1 tile too close from what I think it was supposed to be. So I think actually taking territory off someone's pretty hard. So as soon as anyone takes a ring in this server, I think that will pretty much be it, unless everyone else gangs up on them. Because I don't see how someone will be able to build a fortress for 24 hours in DG. But we'll see, I suppose. I mean, there's still over half the season left, I think. But it has been a really, really fun season. And to be fair, everyone's been getting along, and there's been a few jokes passed backward and forth about which direction Dol Guldur is and how the rings and the undupes it seems this season. But realistically, I think it's just it's transpired that there's 3 teams, and maybe you take one of them out first, I suppose, and we're probably on the wrong end of that at the moment. But I don't know, it may just be the way it feels. As for the pins, I mean, I can show you some pins. The pins have died down a little bit now. So you've got Eamon and June over here. That's been going down though because it's we've lost that territory. Again, been going down. 1.1 million there. Again, another million there. All these pins really are us and only so far, and June. So there's a 1.6 million there. There's a 2.3 million here. Now there's not been a lot of this so far, I don't think. It's probably safe to say. I think it's been more of the others. There's a pin here that's been dying for a few days. It's only 168k. That borderland's a bit weird, actually. And then we've got a 1 day pin here that's 10.4 million and 3.8 million. So we've obviously been defending our side of the tunnel for quite a period of time. This area here, I think, is where that other pin is, and I think it was just where only have pushed axed out of this area, and it's kind of a bit of a borderland, but I wouldn't imagine it's an official borderland, but at the moment it looks like they're just starting to build up, so quite an interesting one. It's been an interesting dynamic as well, because at some stage or another I think that the heat has to come off us in the undeeps, and from there it'll be interesting to see where this power sort of dynamic splits. I think if any of the fellowships fought each other 1v1 for a long period of time, I think it'd be pretty even. I think it's close as far as the season goes, and like I said, it's been one of the more interesting seasons that I've done. But that's kind of where we're at. So from a troop perspective, I'm just basically building guardians constantly, and some iron warriors if I can fit them in at any stage. I think it's a bit of a shame these days that if you're sweeping you can't get too many sweeps. I think it's 10 sweeps a day before you lose grain from sweeping. So I'm actually basically using a 300 grain tile, and I'm just using my ability points where free. Not like that, I'm not. Using my ability points where free, he says. Always keeping 3 in case I need another 4, just to get some grain from a 300. Using some fell beasts to get there fast. But yeah, resources are pretty low at the moment. I tend to produce 25k guardians overnight, which keeps me going for a bit the next day. I haven't really got anything else I need to build building wise. It's pretty much where I'm at with buildings. I could probably do with at some stage upgrading this one, because I'd like them to be produced faster if possible. But at the moment I haven't got the resources to do it anyway. I've literally not built any of these stables, and I've not built any of these either. I've just been upgrading the tribute so I get more production, and it's the same with the Elven Cores. I haven't built any of them either. I have just started building a bruiser there, because I would quite like to use the Berserkers for their initiative on Sauron. But we'll see when we get there, because if you're using all small troops, they actually get a +5 bonus for initiative, so 18 initiative's quite high. If I have a look at Fell Beast, for example. Have I got a Fell Beast anyway? Yeah, I have. Frantically trying not to show my barrack situation. This is an Eagle, so Eagle's initiative is 20, Fell Beast is 19. So with the +5 initiative from all small units in an army, which I'll have if I'm using Berserkers, I'll have 18, which puts me nearly on par, which I think is probably a sensible way of looking at it as far as initiative goes for now, while I change my gear around. But that was good. As for gear itself, we've got quite a few leftover pieces now that we're using on different bits and bobs. Quite looking forward to having this max next season. I just need to use a hammer to get it down. And then I can max refine that. I think it'll be quite interesting. I'm going to use it on Bjorn. And it should increase the damage range, because it'll be 10 to 30 as opposed to 9 to 20. I just need more Axes of Chasm Doom. Very rare that I pick one up. Got a lot of other stuff just lying around, but yeah, no Axes of Chasm Doom. And that's pretty much everything I've got time for today. So, as always with these things, it's been a bit of a laugh, and if you are enjoying the content, like and subscribe. I am just going to do the world's smallest amount of advertising. I do now have a top-up link with the game, and if I can get a few more subscribers, I'll actually become a Fearless Pioneer, which I'm quite excited about, really, because I'm a big player of the game. But as for the top-up link, I'll leave the link down below. If you are spending in the game, it's a great way of supporting the channel. I do plan on using a lot of it for giveaways, to be honest. To help the channel grow more than anything, and give back to the community that's given something to me, to be honest. So, in the meantime, if in doubt, always follow your nose.